There we go. All right.
All right, we're live.
Hello, everybody. Happy
Hello.
Friday.
Happy
Karen and I were
Friday.
just venting about life just being disruptive today. So,
It is. It is. And it's funny because there's some times in life where like work is stressful, and then there's other times when home is stressful. So the good news is work is not stressful this week.
right, knock on wood, right?
Knock
This
on
moment,
wood.
right?
Right now, things are really good. Can I just do a shout out for our AI event? We didn't talk about this, and I didn't put it in the brief. And Carly, you don't have a thing to put up for it or anything, but our AI event last year, we are at like over 2,100 registrants.
Wow.
And this is our third year doing this event, and it's the highest so far. We've hovered in the high double digit, 1,700. I think it was like 1,800 in previous years. So we're over 2,100 at this point. And, we have a very high attendance rate for this particular virtual event. So I'm just jazzed for next week. Like professionally, I am really excited. And I've talked to a few different speakers, and it's just, anyway, I'm really excited for next week. So I think by the time Friday comes along, we'll have a lot to debrief, Lenny.
We will. Well, and boy, what the AI buzz is not going down. What?
Apparently.
What's up with that? And
well,
a quick related note. I mean, we're really into the grit data now.
Yeah.
And guys, just wait.
Can't wait. I can't wait.
No, I mean, just in the AI, la. We're gonna get into it here in just a minute, right?
Yeah.
There's just nothing. It is the defining technological transformation in the world, and especially in our industry.
Yeah.
So
yep. It just and I just think it's just keeps getting stronger and stronger.
Yes.
And anyway, so yeah, like super jazzed about it. Really, so excited for next week. So excited for all the speakers and everything that they're bringing to the table, and how we have it all mapped out. So so make sure you're registered for IAX AI next week. It's pretty straightforward Google search. Since Carly's on the spot without the link, or maybe she's probably by now put it in the chat or something like that. So, because that would be like her. But anyway, yeah, get yourself registered. It's a free virtual event. I think you have to pay to access it on demand, but it's going to be fantastic. And we've had emails from brand side, at least one brand side team who's like, hey, how do I register 90 employees?
I saw it, and that was like a tech company, right?
That was a very well-known tech company. So I was like, okay, I see you. Thank you for that vote of confidence.
Right. Yeah. Like, oh, you have something to learn about this?
From us.
We thought you were creating all of this.
Yes.
So
no, really cool. Really, I'm really excited for next week. So
cool.
Anyway.
Well, that's a segue, because I mean,
so
you might as well. There's an elephant in the room, right? Big news this week.
Big news this week. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and make sure everybody knows we're all on the same page. What was the big news story this week?
Yes, the big one this week, and it was big. Qualtrics buying Press Ganey Forsta for $6.75 billion, which seems like a really big number, but actually I did the math. Qualtrics is about 1.5 billion in revenue.
Yeah.
Press Ganey Force is about 1.5 billion in revenue. So collectively 3 billion in revenue when all is done. So a 6x multiplier, effectively, roughly for Press Ganey. Not crazy, stupid multiplier for these type of deals. It's actually pretty reasonable, which you would expect from a Sequoia backing, a private equity group backing a deal like this. And of course, lots of comments all over. I will give my take real quick. This was not about Forsta. That's not what this deal was about. It was two things, and they were pretty clear about what those two things were. It was a huge presence in healthcare, specifically, and data. Yeah, that's what this was about. What happens to our Confirm It users or Decipher users? My bet is it's going to be sunset at some point over the next couple of years. I don't think Qualtrics wanted that technology. Maybe they'll keep it running for a while. Maybe they'll reposition it. Maybe there'll be like a Qualtrics Lite
Yeah.
or custom, maybe. But that was not what this was about. This wasn't even about owning the market research space. That's aside. Obviously they do now. They have a large user base across the traditional market research. This is all about healthcare data.
Yeah. And kind of owning the patient experience.
Yes.
Both the data sets and the execution of it. So
yep.
I think it's interesting. The LinkedIn thread. So there was obviously everybody in the Qualtrics organization was sharing this broadly, right. So you can go to those, but those are of course hyping it up. And there's been a lot of side conversations. There's one in the Wire exec thread, and of course we've had our internally. But this one thread that I pulled out, Sean Jordan, president at the Research and Planning Group.
Yep.
What was interesting about it was he started saying, "Okay, I want the alternatives out there," and he's like, "Who's talking about Question Pro?" Someone else is like, "Who's talking about quantilope?" Like all of a sudden, everybody else is like, "Okay, who are our forced to substitutes then?" Mm-hmm. And that's an interesting thread because they are calling out socially the problems that they see about how the experience has been using one or two of those other platforms. And mm-hmm. wait a minute, I love Decipher. Like they're just calling out the problems with the providers, which is unusual in social media professionally. Like people don't necessarily haven't gone there on LinkedIn before where they're like, I don't like this one. I don't like this one. They often share who they do like, but this is an interesting thread. So if I were in this space, I'd be like, I want to know what they're talking about. And a lot of known entities in the industry are chiming in.
Yep.
So that's why I earmarked this thread. And I'm like, any vendor in this space who has a vested interest in this, like pay attention to what's being said, either about your company or about these others. This is your competition too. So interesting.
Yes. Well, I think that there's a couple, let's stay on this just for another minute, because I think there's a few layers here to think about that have popped out as well. I mean, consolidation is what happens, right? How did Ipsos become Ipsos? How did Kantar become Kantar? How did Nielsen? I mean, in our space, that you buy stuff, right? And you put it together and you create what you're hoping for is 1 + 1 = 3. So, right, how to unlock more value. On the surface, this looks like absolutely that type of deal, right? Yeah. You're buying growth and you're buying opportunities for new things to manifest.
Yeah.
So at a financial level, that's just the way things work.
Yeah.
But that also works downstream because it's also a big signal. Now, when consolidation happens with a big play like that, then the kind of mid-market tier, they start looking and going, oh, well, what's our 1 + 1 = 3? Right. What other companies are available that we should be looking at potentially? So that play in this space, and how can you combine them to create more opportunities? So this will signal, I suspect, another wave of consolidation, which we were kind of expecting. We'll see other deals happen with other players in competitive response. And will also, once consolidation happens, there's always blowback, right? And there's also like, wait, now you're this big behemoth, and where's my account rep?
What we wanted exactly. Yeah.
Yes, I'm losing service. I want personalization. And new companies step up.
Yeah.
To fill that gap.
Yeah.
So from an ecosystem standpoint, it's actually, I consider it very good news at a macro level, right? There's money flowing into the industry. People recognize the value of data. They recognize the value of research data, even if it's more CX centric. More companies are going to be part of deal flow, and more companies are going to emerge to fill in the gaps to take on the big guys. And so I think it's a very healthy sign.
And I mean, the human wish, right? If you think about all patient experience work is intended to address the patient experience and improve it.
Yep.
So if we, put some rose-colored glasses on and we stay idealistic, this could be a great stride towards the end goal, which is improving patient outcomes.
Yes.
And I feel like even though there may be criticism about how we get there and how they're getting there, and is this, I think I read one comment where they're like, is this even legal? Isn't this a monopoly now? And isn't this problematic? And all that stuff. And I'm like, it's not. And, perhaps we'll have better health outcomes, which is really what, again, the ultimate goal is on a personal level. So,
yeah. Yes. And that is, so it'll be interesting to see how they do that. I mean, Press Ganey, this for my start in research was working in healthcare satisfaction research. That was running the fun room. So, and I remember we competed against Press Ganey back in the day. Yeah. And, satisfaction studies usually just sit in a silo. So to your point, this is really good. That this can expand that. And if I recall correctly, this isn't about pharma. This is really, about hospitals, practitioners, those the actual patient facing side of healthcare. Yeah. And let's see what they can do. If they can unlock all that, do it in an ethical way, privacy, all those things.
Keeping the data safe and secure. And that would be, critical, but I'm sure they're working on it. That is not something that they're taking lightly. Both of those organizations, I think, take that very seriously. So,
right. Well, they have to. It's kind of existential, right? Yeah. So, And we're both at the age, we've had parents with health issues, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, this is a big deal. Let's be optimistic. It's different. Sure, there's competitive concerns. Will there be service issues? Yes, all those things are valid and real, but it should create value. And I don't mean just monetary value. I mean like real value for the industry as a whole, and for people. So
we'll keep watching.
Yep.
This other one that we found, this other acquisition is, I don't know these players, and largely it's because one of them just launched in 2023, and they're already acquiring others, which I think is really interesting. So, a company called Potentia Insight acquired DataTree ConneXions to boost up their digital research with expanded market data and analytics capabilities. And so this is a Research Live article that we saw. But what's interesting is, so Potentia lost in 2023, and later that same year, they already acquired a data science consultancy. It's called Cinctif, to advance their analytics capabilities. So I just think that's very interesting that they've launched, they've acquired, they've now acquired again. They are growing through acquisition, which is a strategy that I hope serves them well. But anyway, that was kind of my 2 cents on it. Is just, that's one approach.
Yes. Well, I don't know much about them either. So all I could add is looking at their acquisitions. There is a rhyme and reason. It's not just, they're not just like gobbling up to, there seems to be a strategy which is data and analytically focused. So that's and yes, I have no idea. My guess is that the founding of it was based on people with money with a very specific strategy on how it was going to go. To do that. So what is it? It's all about data. It's and unlocking the value of the data, which is a good segue to
take it away.
Our friends at Cint and Affinity Solutions to combine consumer purchase insights with Cint's audience network, behavioral and attitudinal, and not just attitudinal within Cint. I think this is all tied to their media business. The media measurement and looking at that. So they're trying to get to some type of attribution, which is what
and doesn't Affinity, isn't it about, isn't it transaction data? Isn't that part of what they, so here we are where I feel like this is a recurring theme. It's this transaction data across the board is, we've known it's out there and it exists, and it's all these purchases that we're doing now being linked very closely to insights providers to make sense out of all those purchase transitions. Let's just not let this data sit out there. This
Absolutely.
data is used. Anyway.
There are big businesses out there that do that. Affinity is one of them. I think what stands out is for a company like Cint, that this is a sample provider
Yeah.
Recognizing that sample is not the core driver of the business. It's so they are taking their asset, which is access to people and information on those people, now combining that with another data set that unlocks more value in the data.
Yeah. Good synthesis.
So, yes, and we've been talking about this now for years.
Yeah.
And we're going to see more of this. There's a lot of behavioral players out there, Curious and Behavix and, these other companies that, a Reality Mind, lots of folks that are trying to make these connections, but they need to scale. Cint provides the possibility of scale because of their overall reach and global presence. So will we see, excuse me, Dynata, other big players do this? Yes. I would say that we will see more and more of this because one, as surveys decline, which we've been expecting and predicting was going to happen, that's the core driver of the revenue, is the transactional aspect of surveys. You got to replace that. So this is, my guess is, probably a subscription business. They didn't say that, but that's what I would guess it's going to be.
Yeah.
That's a great business model from a revenue standpoint. And so the things that we've been talking about for a few years to say this is what we'll start seeing these things. Now we're seeing those things and not taking credit for it. It was just kind of obvious when you look at the transformation because of AI and disruption. These are the things that were going to start happening. And
Speaking of AI,
I mean, we might as well, let's jump into
Here we are about halfway through our show. Pretty damn good. But this one was really interesting. I played around with it a little bit too. So Quantilope launched an AI-powered category entry point generator to surface buying triggers and accelerated brand growth. And if you click and follow some links, their category entry points, they're defining them as the needs, occasions, reasons, and motivations that trigger a consumer to buy from a specific category. So you can enter in kind of your brand, your category, a few basic questions, and it's going to generate for you these moments, these triggers. And from a kind of a behavioral science standpoint, if you can understand the triggers, right, then you're in this kind of like, you're in this ecosystem of then understanding like how to speak in those moments, right, when the trigger is occurring, how to get your brand recognizable in those moments, how to address the needs, et cetera, et cetera. So very cool. And it's I think like other models out there in a lot of platforms, is the first few queries are free. So you can go in there and play, experiment with your brand. I love a good AI powered generator. I just think it's cool. And, get some insights, check it out, see what they've got going on, because it's pretty deep.
So let's both think this from our researcher hats, right? Okay, we have this. So it's early stage ideation and concept testing, right? Secondary research.
Right.
Okay, cool. Very iterative, very effective, very, very cheap, I guess. Now, what does that trigger? Oh, all right. Well, let's put a little more meat on the bone and test this concept, maybe with synthetic. Quality synthetic.
Right.
Okay. Now I've narrowed it from 10 things to 2.
Right.
So now let's go test it. And if you do that all in one platform and it's a seamless workflow. And that's pretty great.
Right. And that's a big unlock. So like the next one, segueing to the next little blurb that we have, Stravito releasing their AI personas on their landing page. They have a case study there used by Lavazza Group, which if you're a coffee drinker, like you'll like it the way I did, speeding early stage, idea validation. So we're not talking about, the big testing, right? We're talking about stress testing these early ideas, to your point, using their new tool, which I think we've talked about for a few weeks now. Like that is really where there is gold in these,
there are hills.
I mean, it's pretty cool. Like, yes, I'd like to stress test this in an easy, in less expensive way. narrow down that list, you know, get
Yep.
your ideas going, then converge on some of those ideas before you put them out there into the world.
Yep. And I think for Stravito, right? Yeah, so they're a knowledge management platform, right?
Yeah.
So you store all your research and then unlock with, you know, additional analysis. I mean, that was
Yeah.
the core. So now to take it further and create more value off of that data, because I'm sure those personas are created off of, you know, your existing data, and make it more of a, it's not just a repository of information anymore. It is a tool to actually fill that cycle, you know, of you know, engendering more research or creating more value out of the data. Very smart. I'm sure all of their competitors, well, I know that they are, Market Logic, they're doing similar things, right? We've seen that makes perfect sense. And we do that. Don't you do that with your own accounts on like OpenAI? I do Perplexity and all the time. So load up all my data, you know, unlock this, you know, value. Now they're just doing it in a very at a enterprise level behind those firewalls. So very cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. I talk about, why don't you talk about DScout?
Well, to me, I'm like, of course, you know, so DScout, actually, I was one of the very early users of DScout. I really liked it as a platform back in the day. DScout announced their DScout AI, promoting faster, deeper qualitative research, right? You know, to me, that's a natural. DScout, you know, was doing qual at scale, you know, almost like my first use case with that was ethnography at scale, like take pictures of your dinner plate kind of ethnography at scale. And so I was seeing hundreds of dinner plates so that we could, you know, inform the product development for the food service company that I was working at, et cetera, et cetera. But to me, I'm like, yes, of course, it's, you know, no shade to DScout because I love them as a platform and I'm glad they have this. But this is what, to me, this is like, yes, of course, we're going to have more and more of these. Like, yes, of course, you need AI in your mix. Like, this is not, it in of itself is not, it's like, yes, table stakes, you have to have it, especially qual at scale right now. Like, a lot of buzz at the SMR Congress was about qual. And like, yes, of course, there's use cases for, you know, the human approach to qualitative, but also lots of conversation about qual at scale and, you know, AI qual and all that. It's everywhere because no matter what, we still need to understand, right? So anyway, that's kind of my high horse about that is like, yes, like if you have you should be exploring these things. If you have a platform, you should be exploring AI assists for qual at scale.
100%. And it's probably a segue. We should give a shout out to our sponsor for the exchange, which is Conveo.ai, qual scale platform. Last week, you know, had Niels on. And, also did a great podcast interview with Hendrik, one of the co-founders. That really, you guys listen to it when it comes out. It's really cool.
Yes, very
anyway,
cool. Yes,
but yes, and that was actually part of the conversation with Hendrik of like, it's kind of like everybody's doing this now, right? And no shade on anyone. It's because it's successful. I mean, and there's money flowing. We've seen big VC money to Conveo to you know, their competitors as well. There's buzz. There's another big ass VC round going to a company in that space that should be announced soon. Yeah, that's because it just makes sense.
No, I know. And somebody just reached out to me on LinkedIn from Stanford University's lab. They're working on, you know, they're working on that. I'm like, oh yes, and of course, you know, our competition winners listen. Like, of course, they're out there doing this. So like so I don't mean to you know, undervalue it, but it's like, yes, period.
Yes.
You know, this, yes, period.
Right. Well, we go back to the very beginning. I mean, Qualtrics, it's a survey platform. And they're, you know, with multi-billion-dollar valuation and et cetera, et cetera. And these, what are they doing? Using the data and unlocking it and all. There's a thread through all of these that show the value. Now we're
the thread is we still need to understand human beings.
Yes.
We still need to ask questions of them. Sometimes we can ask a closed-ended question. Sometimes we need deeper meaning with an open-ended question. We still need to ask the questions.
100%. And even if the AI, we get to the point where we're testing these things at the beginning, because we have personas and all of that good stuff, there's still a whole bunch of whys
Yeah.
And unknowns that still need to be captured. So I'm going to mention this real quick. I had heard my name was mentioned at SMR.
Rumor has it.
Rumor has it. And so there was a panel, and Simon Chadwick and Kristen Luck and then Simon made a comment that I thought the industry was doomed, and I heard about it, and I was like, I never said that, and I didn't. What I did say is that there's changes. We are evolving rapidly, and we're talking about that, right? And the impacts on business models, et cetera, et cetera. But to your point, the need to understand humans to help sell more stuff, because that's ultimately where we get to, right? That's never been more important. We just have different tools, and those different tools are changing the dynamics of how we do things. But fundamentally, that core, it's wonderful. We're in a great spot. So, all right, I'm off my high horse. Why don't we get to and nothing but love for you, Simon and Kristen, by the way. So, I'm used to being taken out of.
This goes to show you how people can get taken out of context. So
it's like telephone, right?
Anyway,
but
I know, absolutely.
But go listen to past, exchanges and podcasts.
And I think it bears not to beat this particular dead horse, but it bears repeating that yes, basically you have to evolve and grow, or else you perhaps will be obsolete. This is a time in history when evolution is essential, right? In this business space, you have to do these things because the rate of change is so great that if you are not changing and putting efforts towards your future strategy, then you will have problems. So while the industry is not doomed, some companies will be, and that's the hard truth, right? So,
and it's always been that. How many phone rooms are there now? Not many, right? I mean, it's just a fact. So we evolve.
We evolve.
All right. Speaking of evolution,
yeah. The thing is, did you get a chance to play with these? So OpenAI introduced apps in ChatGPT, so you can have like an app-like experience in there. So I played because one of the apps that was in there is Zillow, for example, that is connected.
Okay.
So I went into Zillow via ChatGPT, and I was like, tell me what's on the market in XYZ town. And I got a bunch of listings right there in ChatGPT, and kind of nodded. And I was like, I'm not quite sure. And this goes kind of hand in hand with the next thing that we're going to talk about. But, I'm like, all right, I'm not quite sure this is faster and better for me than going onto Zillow.com or opening my Zillow app. Like I'm just in a different platform. And you can do similar things, right? You can check Spotify. You can be like, tell me, find me a playlist or something. I'm not sure it's better than going right to the app itself until you start to go down the trail of the agents, agentic AI. And so OpenAI concurrently in last week unveiled their agent kit, which is helping kind of the back-end developers kind of get a play here too. So I might have a user experience in ChatGPT, but now there's going to be agentic assists. So if I wanted to, working in ChatGPT, for example, like find a listing. Ooh, I want to go see that one. And it might then make the next steps, which is to schedule my viewing or something. So that's how that's all going to come together within a very usable platform like ChatGPT. So now, Instacart is coming soon. So remember, I was telling you, like, I wouldn't mind finding a recipe in ChatGPT and then saying, add it to my grocery cart. Okay, why don't you just have it delivered to my house? That is coming sooner than I fathomed.
Yeah. Well, and Karen, you'll be proud of me. I don't know if we even talked about this. So, no surprise, we're playing with like a Green Book agent, and of course we are, because everybody is. So,
of course we are.
So I was asked to go into ChatGPT and open, which I don't use, and use their builder and to create the agent. And I went in with
by the way, I just want to say on the record, loud for everybody, I drafted one well over a year ago.
Yes, I know. So I'm saying you'll be proud of me.
1.0 is all me. So
yes, 100%. You've been talking about, I got this agent doing this and that and the other, and I'm like, I'm still all manual. And guys, I got to tell you, it was. It was the
Yeah.
easiest damn thing.
It
It
is.
was no different than writing a prompt.
Yeah.
So there was a wizard that talked me through different components of,
Yeah.
to do this. And then I passed it off to our dev team to,
Yeah.
do whatever they need to do to connect it. But it was, it, I knew it intellectually, but
Yeah.
but to just do that thing, right? To go from
Yeah.
from looking at the pool to putting my foot in the water, right?
Yeah,
It was
it's so cool. Well, yeah,
it's
now
crazy.
in my free time, which is really more of a distraction time, like, so my mind doesn't ruminate on other things at the moment, but I'm also working in Lovable on building something brand new that has nothing to do with Green Book at all. But that's what this time, this is like, here's the reason why this is important. That's what this time warrants. This time warrants experimentation.
Yep.
What can I build? What is possible? Because once you start to explore what's possible for things that are interesting to you, then you can guide your companies into what's possible for this firm.
Yep.
And that's the playing that needs to happen.
Right.
I think I want to jump up before we go back to, let's certainly talk about that other one, but that report that you have, that you found at the bottom, the Horowitz report about
Horowitz,
AI applications, spending report. If you go into that
for startups.
Yep. If you go into it, one of the things that's really cool is it has this list of what they're using, and kind of they've broken it down with like how they're using it. So, of course, there's some really cool use cases that I was like, oh, like, I've never heard of this particular note taker. What's cool about that one? Or I've never heard about this email assist. Like, really cool to look at like the top 50. And of course, like OpenAI, ChatGPT is, like number one on the list, of course. But it's very cool to look at some of them and be like, oh, I've heard of this one. Oh, this one I've never experimented with. What are these startups finding? Like, how are these startups who are scrappy, known for being scrappy, known for having to just get what they can get quickly, Anyway, it's very cool. I really liked that report. From, creative tools to vibe coding and, different iterations in between email assist and note taking, and really, I love that report. So it's time to play, people.
Yeah. And let's tie that back to the earlier comments about, this macro stuff, right? The barrier to entry of creating a solution and bringing it to market is lower than it has ever been. Now, it still has to be a good idea, and it's got to find white space. All those basic businesses elements are there. But to your point, to be able to experiment and bring something to life and get it out there and see is not a heavy lift at this point. Right? It's not a significant investment. And we are seeing evidence of, already over the past few years, Listen Labs, Conveo, they went through that process. A couple of guys with an idea, two guys in a truck kind of thing. And it's only getting easier.
Why this work that's out of these universities, like, the Stanford AI group, they're able to think, they're working on real-time products, but they're also, they're doing this early stage AI A/B testing on their early ideas. Like, they are walking the walk at an institution like that to get things out there. Anyway.
Pretty cool. All right, why don't you handle this last one? Being a dedicated Samsung user, and as you hold your glasses,
as I hold my glasses, knew this one was a matter of time. But AI Apple glasses. So we've talked about like the Meta glass, the Ray-Bans, but this is going to be Apple glasses that have an integration with your phone, with your iPhone. It's coming 2026, 2027. So they've like kind of talked about it. It is definitely hitting the market later than their competitors, right? Admittedly. But what do we know about that kind of thing from Apple? Apple is going to, I have very high hopes for, they don't have to be the first, but they're probably going to strive to be the best. And there's a damn good chance it's going to happen for them. Like, I'm like, yep, I can see that. So they're rumored to have multiple cameras on their health tracking, again, iPhone integration. We're not putting down our phones anytime soon. And I think that's what's been interesting about the Meta glasses. Is one of the barriers for me is sort of like, I don't want to like get to know my Meta glasses I'm walking around with my iPhone every day. That is not that connectivity is going to make me an easier customer, right? Because hey, like I'm in the iPhone ecosystem, so that will make sense to me anyway.
Yeah.
2026, 2027.
Yep. We've been talking about wearables for a while.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of like, oh, la la la, but it's follow the money. I mean, it's going there. And what does that do in the world of connected data? Right.
Yeah.
It's just going to expand all of that even more. The research applications. I mean, there's big implications for what massive implications across the board.
Use cases also. Okay, so here's the product idea for the companies that haven't thought about this already. But imagine I get a push survey on my phone. Yo, I see that you've just gone into Walmart.
Yep.
Head to the bread aisle.
Yep.
I did shelf testing in the bread aisle, so that's always like the first one to come. Anyway, head to the bread aisle and show me how you choose your favorite. And now my glasses take over, right? So the surveys on my phone, I read it, I'm interacting. Yep. Glasses are now taking over. So there's this hybrid period of time where that will be usable and doable, as opposed to just somebody whispering into my ear or projecting the question. It becomes a nice iteration, an iterative step of how to integrate the two different types of technology early on.
Yep.
That will be easy for people.
And likely, or potentially not done via a panel, simply as a user, as an opt-in. Do you want to receive offers? Yeah. When you're just in your general opt-in, and for that to be an agentic system that's popping in, and so the order may still come through, a sample company or a research company. That may still happen, but the idea of it's river sample on steroids, right? I mean, it's the potential to randomly engage with people and create a revenue stream. Oh, hey, you're looking at the bread. Here's a buck, or here's a buck off of your purchase. I mean, there's so many interesting opportunities as we head into that. So brave new world.
Cool stuff.
All right. Anyway. You've got stuff to do. For those who don't know, Karen's house is on the market, and so she's all stressed out this weekend. So for all of us who have, it's the best way to do it. Just do one open house. By God, I just get all the offers like that in there, and we go, because you can't live like that.
Yes, from your lips to God's ears, as they say about that one weekend on the market. So we've never done this. We've never done this before. We have lived in I had sold condos when I was in my 20s, but Tim, we have lived in this house for 28 years. It is no small task.
Nope.
And there's a million reasons why we're doing this, and joy of the process is not one of them.
I hear you. Knock on wood, sending good vibes. That's how it worked. Hopefully you'll have the Lenny luck on this. That's what we did. One weekend, we had 3 offers. And by Wednesday, we it's like, this is a good enough offer. Let's just move on, right? We could have, let's hold out for more. Like, no, this is totally fine.
We're the jury is out on that, because we don't have to move. Like we actually really like our house a lot. It's just not right. It's just we have a forward view. So and we're not going far. It's not like we need to move out of state. We both work remotely, so it's not like we have to shorten a commute. Like
not going to Kentucky.
We're not doing Kentucky. We're not. There's no farm in our future. But like so we would like an offer to come in. If it doesn't meet, if it doesn't feel right, we're not. So jury's out. We'll talk about it next week. I'll let you know how our week went, and
there we go.
What we just ultimately decide. We'll see.
Yes. Well, fingers crossed.
Send good vibes, folks. Send good vibes.
Yes. Sending good vibes. It is. If you haven't sold your house, guys, getting ready to sale, showing is just the biggest pain in the ass imaginable. And keep that in mind if you're buying a house. You go in, look, it's so beautiful and everything. Like, imagine these.
And it was a lot of work when I also was overseas in Prague, and then went to family weekend at my daughter's university. Like, I was like prepping.
And they get ready for this. Yeah, you had no time.
Like, I am not okay. So, anyway.
All right. On that note, everybody have a wonderful weekend. Karen, thank you and good luck.
Oh yeah, of course. Thank you all. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. But last shout out to our sponsor, Conveo.ai, and also Carly who is in the background making it all work. So yeah, big props to everybody. All right, everyone, take care.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.